doing whatever we can to make women great again, or whatever.
She literally said make women great again.
Hey guys, it's Angela, and in this video, we're proposing the question of if The Handmaid's Tale could actually come real. This and many cultural things that this prevalent question has brought forth, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. The AI overview from Google, which by the way is so awesome, says that it is not likely to happen. The book's premise is on human fertility crisis that hasn't happened in the US, even though in the real world, the global birth rate has declined over the last 70 years. If The Handmaid's Tale was to actually happen, it would somehow be because the women caused it in a sense, especially with things like the 4B movement. However, it does say that events in the book are embedded in existing realities, like women's rights in the US being debated by primarily old white men. Old? Why did they add old in there? Like Trump and Biden. And around the world, like in Afghanistan, women aren't allowed to leave the house without a man's permission, or they need to be accompanied by a man and stuff like that. The author herself calls it speculative fiction, but that does not stop American women who have all the rights that you could possibly dream of. It doesn't stop them from worrying about this potential reality constantly, every day. They wake up in fear about this happening. Now, do I wake up in fear about Transformers also becoming real? I don't know. Maybe. But there is this song that women who really believe in The Handmaid's Tale happening keep repeating on all of their TikToks. They seriously do not stop playing this song. If you know it, I'm gonna read it, but you're just gonna hear the sound in the back of your head. And I just didn't want to listen to it. I didn't want it to get stuck in my head because I didn't want to go down this loophole of being so afraid. But here's the lyrics. All day, every day, therapist, mother, maid, nymph, then a virgin, nurse, then a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. And that sounds pretty bizarre to me, especially when our men are out there constructing, building, creating technology, coding, just doing all of these things that women typically don't do, especially because we're not as strong, so maybe we're not going to be able to lift as many bricks or provide the marketplace as much value as men do in many ways. But that doesn't stop her from saying so that men never lift a finger. Oh, they don't even lift a finger, right? 24/7 baby machine. Okay. So he can live out his picket dream fence, as if no woman would ever want to have a kid and it's just men. It's not an act of love if you make her. Obviously, I'm sure we can all agree with that. You make me do too much labor. And that is the name of the song. It is Labor, and it has been on repeat on TikTok. The writer of this song wants us to know that while all women carry the weight of unpaid physical and emotional labor, this goes so much deeper for women of color, trans women, and disabled women. So make of that what you will. This is the part of this article that I found the most interesting when I looked up the meaning, even though it's pretty obvious. Women are just doing more and more, and men are not doing any more than they've ever done. But isn't that what you wanted? You guys wanted to be like girl bosses and make your own money, never need a man. There's still expectation for women to have very traditional, archaic role as a caregiver and a servant, and a wife and a mother and a homemaker, she continues. But women have had enough of existing to serve other people. Well then, what really is the point of life? Being a wife and being a homemaker doesn't entail you being a servant, but okay, let's continue. So women share this song and they make the sad faces and they just look so disappointed at how our society has gotten so bad with Donald Trump being elected, I guess is what they're really referring to. And at the end of the music video, she's eating pomegranate and her mouth is just covered in what looks like blood because she's just had enough of being this man's servant. I really liked this music video, by the way, and she has a lovely voice. I just find it really bizarre that so many American women feel so related to this song as if it has anything to do with their day-to-day life. It's just more the potential that someday maybe something like this could happen than how it really reflects reality. While I do want to acknowledge the fact that there is a lot of work that women do that just kind of goes under the radar and doesn't get noticed by anybody. And of course it's unpaid for because that's just kind of how it naturally is. I'm going to make a joke in a second, but first I wanted to talk about this book that I read. It's phenomenal. It's called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And one of the main points is that women over the years learn how to not give so much love or give so much of themselves. Some women feel so overwhelmed because they give so much and they feel like they're never receiving anything in return. But when women actually stop giving men love, that is when they come and they're trying to appeal to women and help them in the ways that they need. And along with that, that men learn over the years how to give love, whereas women learn when to not give as much love or something like that. Now it is time for my joke. And that is that in this music video, she cooks this big Thanksgiving dinner for this really fat guy who we never see his face, I guess, but she's just his servant and she's bringing him all this food and just trying to please him. And my question is why do American women feel so related to this, especially when we're not typically cooking fresh home cooked meals? And maybe some women are, maybe some of them are, but the truth is we eat so much fast food and so much processed food that this is not the reality of American women's lifestyle. I'm pretty certain that most women in America don't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to gather the fresh vegetables and cut everything just so when her husband gets home, she'll have this amazing fresh cooked meal. Most of the time, and I am inferring here, but seeing American culture and seeing what sells at the supermarkets, it's mostly frozen food. It's mostly processed TV tray dinners, throw it in the oven, hamburger helper kind of stuff. And so the fact that women are like, oh yes, this is so me in America, I'm just kind of like, baby, are you sure about that? Okay, but I understand. Maybe you don't want to take it from me. This is according to the CDC. 36.6% of US adults consumed fast food on any given day. That's approximately 84 million adults every single day. I just haven't seen it a part of American culture to really serve men. Recently, it's been the complete opposite of that. And it's like, have nothing to do with a man. Don't talk, don't look to a man. So this whole, oh yes, like we keep giving to these men and just get nothing it's a little bit overdrawn. After watching that music video and seeing so many of those TikToks, I had to put some different information in my head. And so I was just reading this and I was like, these lyrics are so much nicer. My daddy served in the army where he lost his right eye, but he flew a flag out in our yard till the day that he died. He wanted my mother, my brother, my sister, and me so we could grow up happy in the land of the free. Now, this nation I love has fallen under attack. Honestly, sometimes when I hear the enemy from within, I wonder if he's talking about people with communist agendas so we could lit up the world like the 4th of July. This is also male sacrifice. Men are in the military. Women are also in the military as well. People are sacrificing, both men and women. We work hard every single day. We do our best to provide and serve because who knows how long we're going to be on this earth. So might as well add something to it, leave it a little bit better than we found it. From the lyrics of the other song, basically the idea that I get is don't serve anything to anybody. Don't do anything for anybody. Just live selfishly, consume, indulge in all of your pleasures because nothing else matters. But perhaps I am just absolutely insane because these women in this crowd of the singer, they get it. They're literally singing every single word. And the author knows that they're going to sing every word because she's like, in a second, when it comes that I know, you know, she knows. And like every single word, they're singing it at the top of their lungs. It's almost like when it's so usual for middle-class Americans to listen to rap music and they're like, oh yeah, I totally get this. Like I'm totally about this. And actually it's like, we don't really understand what that reality is, nor would we want to. So that was just my input as to why I don't believe The Handmaid's Tale is going to happen, but it seems more likely that the majority of women just enjoy the entertainment of something like this maybe happening, or some type of thrill, some type of enemy to go up against. And I think that it is all very imaginatory. I haven't seen the movie, being completely honest, and people who comment and reply to these Handmaid Tale videos are just so specific, and they're like, oh, she got her finger cut off for that, didn't she? And like when they go to Gilead, that is so similar to this and that, and it just seems like, guys, Gilead it's not a real place. Looks like from an outsider looking in that many people have been so emotionally charged from the movie that they feel very related to it, and that's what movies are meant to do, that somehow they've been able to see it in their everyday life. But that happens with anything that you consume. You're going to begin to see it more and think about it more. And so I just think women are thinking a little bit too much about it.
Rewatching The Handmaid's Tale for a second time around has been very eye-opening, especially in this political climate that we're about to enter. And
I mean, come on. Movies are like artistic and they're entertainment. It's not a documentary. And the author of the movie said it herself that it was just like inspiration. It's just a movie. It's just a movie. And yet this woman is actually going through it, breaking it down, looking for things and trying to pinpoint where they actually exist in society.
Recognize now that they really illuminate the hallmarks of fascism, like the increase in silencing the freedom of speech, and how there is systemic sexism that they want and that they're going to get, and what authoritarian...
Who is they? The men of Gilead? Or are you talking about our real government? Because it seems like she has the two mixed up.
Personalities look like in power. And basically, like, once this type of government takes place, like, what it does to further hurt marginalized communities, what it does to marginalized communities. And like the leaders in Gilead, they will deny, and minimize any psychological impact that their entire system of government has on marginalized parts of the population, that these people are literally suffering from their new system that they create, but they deny.
So anybody who has been confused on why women are freaking out about the results of the election is because they feel like what happened in The Handmaid's Tale is coming true, and like The Handmaid's Tale is like The Simpsons and they know what's gonna happen.
That's even happening. Does that sound familiar to anyone? There is a flashback scene where Serena and Fred are talking about legalizing sexism against women, and Serena is like boasting and gloating, like, praise be to God, like, we're gonna save these women, they're in so much pain, and we're saving them, like, we're doing the Lord's work, or we're doing God's work, or whatever. Like,
is she comparing that to like white MAGA women who think that they were doing what was right when they voted for Trump, but they just didn't know the impacts of what they were actually doing? We're not living in a fairy tale. Even Hollywood is just going berserk right now because they're realizing that their celebrities just don't have the same influence and people are boycotting them.
The Waterfords, Fred and Serena, all those Sons of Jacob people, all the founding commander people, they minimalize and deny that the impacts of the laws that they're making have any impact on an entire gender. And offhandedly, they basically are like saying like, no, this is great for women. Like, we're getting women back to what they should be doing. We're making women happier. We're doing whatever we can to make women great again, or whatever.
She literally said, make women great again. Stop.
Gilead has always blamed women. they've always blamed women of any type of assault. Like, the handmaids are literally trained to sit around in a circle pointing at anyone who comes forth about their abuse, telling her, like, it's her fault, it's her fault, it's her fault. And, like, they're taught that they are handmaids because of whatever behaviors they did that were sinful before the government coup. Like, basically, like, you're a handmaid and it's your fault and you deserve this type of punishment. Like having your kids taken away from you. And then
Okay, I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, at this point, she's talking about the movie, but she's very emotionally charged by it. And honestly, it sounds like a phenomenal movie and that it just has an incredible, interesting plot. I thought about watching it. I'm a little bit just, I don't think so. I don't know. I just almost feel like it's propaganda. After I voted. She went to the voting polls like this. After I voted in my handmaid's outfit, oh no, she went shopping too. I hope she went to Target because she's kind of looking like one right now.
And got some shopping done while I was at it.
I mind you, November 5th, that was 5 days, 5 whole days after Halloween.
You know. Blessed day.
I think that was probably more scary for the people who witnessed this woman walking around. And for the people who never saw The Handmaid's Tale, they're like, what kind of nun is that? I've never seen that version of nun. A handmaid votes in New York August primary, and people are like, oh, the message is clear. She really sent out a message. Yeah, she sent out a message that she watched the whole series, and basically that. This is why, okay, I believe that The Handmaid's Tale and the fear that comes along with it, by the way, again, it sounds like a great movie, and I'm actually sure so many people have watched it. I'm probably like a weird one for not watching it. I understand. To me, it encourages in some ways the 4B movement that is gaining traction because women are worried, very worried about their rights and like actually shaking, worried, staying up at night about it. And I think that fear is eventually going to cause some action. And that's good in nature because usually anger is fear because it's like a fear of loss of something, a fear of loss of love, or you're afraid, you're feeling hurt, and so you act out in anger. And so a lot of these angry woke meltdowns come from fear, and it's fear of their rights being taken away. And so anger is a good emotion because it drives action. The problem is that this action is a little bit sporadic. It doesn't really seem well thought through. I mean, we've heard about societies like Japan, where all the old people no longer have any youth to run the society for them. And I think that it's sad. I mean, Elon Musk also posts a lot about the birth rate decline, and he has done his part in continuing the world. I mean, he has literally like 11 kids, so he's not to blame for any of this. He's not a part of the 4B movement, but it's gaining traction. And I want you guys to let me know if you think that influences like this song where she's calling women just servants to men and that is bad. And then we have the movie, The Handmaid's Tale. Does this somehow relate to the 4B movement, or am I grasping for straws?
Movement is just a TikTok trend. It's not going to take off in real life. It's just a fringe movement. Are they sure about that? Because both CNN and NBC have already reported on
Is that a threat?
The 4B movement is already starting to go mainstream in the US. And as it does, more and more women are going to consider it for themselves. And I don't know how big the 4B movement will turn out to be in the US, but it'll certainly be something. Thank you for your time.
It is. It is certainly something indeed. And I have to say that her glittery eyeshadow was very, very gorgeous. And I have always tried to find a glittery eyeshadow like that one. But at the end of the day. Sometimes we worry about what's happening on the other side of the world or what these new TikTok trends are becoming. And truly, all that we can really control is ourselves. And we have to be slaves, not to men, but to our habits. And our habits are ultimately going to determine everything. And in Atomic Habits, which I'm sure many of you have read, he talks about habit stacking. And so if there's something new that you want to do, like reading every day, try to stack it in between something you already do. So if you take a shower at 8, you can write down that after my shower at 8, I will read and then I will go get in my car. So that way you're combining it with things that you already do, because at the end of the day, that is how we maintain our control and control our destinies. Please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.